Hi, I'm Catherine from St Peter's Highfields, and today we're going to be making some paper carnations. I hope you enjoy joining with us doing this. So firstly, you're going to need some paper, coloured paper, but what interestingly you can also use is some flyers. So the sort that you just get through the door that normally end up in the bin. These make great carnations. Whether you're going to use ordinary paper or the sort that you get as flyers, you're going to need to square this paper off. So here's the method. Take your paper, fold in diagonally, and then you'll have a piece at the bottom. This is the piece you're going to cut off. Fold it backwards so you have this flap and make a cut. Now I've used two different coloured papers just so that you can see. You only need the one piece of paper, and you end up with your square of paper like this. Once you have your square of paper, you need to make this into smaller squares. So we're going to fold the paper in half, and in half again, and then you're going to cut that so that you've now got 4 squares. Once you have your squares, you need to draw a circle. Doesn't matter what you use to do this, just something circular of roughly the same size, and then you're going to cut that out. So you now have a nice circle. Once you have this circle, you need to fold it up. First in half, and then half again. At this point, we're then going to cut the edges to make a nice scallop effect. So just using your scissors back and forward, like this. If you've got some pinking shears, that'll probably make quite a nice edge as well, so feel free to use those. Having got that crimped, you need to fold it in half again. So this is what you end up with. You're going to just turn the edge over from the bottom, just upwards. And then we're going to cut the 2 sides down to where you've got the folded piece. Now the folded piece is actually just to remind you not to snip that bit. Once you've cut it, you need to very gently open this out. This will give you some lovely segments ready to make your carnations. So at this point, you need to get your crafting glue and just put a little blob in the centre. Get your next piece, and then you're going to put that on, but try and line it up so that the petal bits on the second one fit over the holes in the first one. So I haven't lined it up very well there, so I'm just going to turn it round so you can see, so that that lines better. You keep going with this. Keep building up the layers. And then once you start getting to the middle layers, you might find that they're bouncing up on the top. So you could get a skewer or something similar, and just push this layer down. And while you're holding it all in place, ruffle it up. And that's what gives your carnation effect. You'll be able to ruffle it better once it's dry, but as you can see, there's the carnation shape. Now next we're going to make the stems. There's two different ways of making the stems. The first is a really easy. So here's a carnation I made earlier using paper, and as you can perhaps see, I've gone and got a stick out the garden, and all I've done is I've used masking tape to stick this on to the back of my carnation and then given it a bit of colour. So you can perhaps see this, just sticking it on to the back of the carnation, and that gives us a nice carnation with stick, ready to use. However, some of you aren't anywhere where you can get sticks easily, so we're going to have a go at making another one ourselves. This is out of a skewer. Now you might tell that this is a little bit different from the first one. So what I've used on this one is the coloured flyers that I told you about earlier. So this is the one I used. You can perhaps see it there. So you're going to need your skewer and a strip of green paper and a bit of bunched up green paper. Now to start with, you're just going to wrap this bunched up green paper round your skewer. It doesn't have to be particularly neat, but you need to put some glue on it to hold it in place. So I would suggest a little bit of glue on the paper and some on the stick as well, on your skewer. Once you have that, roll it on nice and tight. And you may have noticed carnations have this knobbly little bit on top. And this is what we're making. Next you're going to cover that with some masking tape. So you're just going to roll the masking tape over it. And at this point, you need to cut the top off so it's flat. And this is going to give the base for your carnation to sit on. You can see there. So just stick it on with some glue. I'm not going to stick that bit on now, I'll leave you to do that. The next part, we're going to cover the stem, put some glue onto a strip of green paper. Once you have that, starting in the corner, you're going to wrap this round the stick till you get to the bottom. So just keep wrapping all the way down. You can do this as tight or as loose as you want, depending on the effect that you want. And we end up with a covered stick or skewer. You're going to add some leaves to this. So again, I've got a strip of green paper. I've folded it in half. And I'm going to fold it in half lengthways. Sorry about that, I've still got some glue on my fingers. So we've got a nice long thin strip. So if we open that up and you can see. So what's quite good is the middle edge, just get a nice deep crease. And then you're going to cut the outer edge into a long thin strip coming up to a point. Even that out, you'll find you've got two shapes. These are your leaves. Now again, the thinner you cut up here, the thinner your leaf will be. I think that's a bit too fat for what I want, so I'm actually going to put it back together again and cut a little bit more off. I'll just put the other one. And that then gives me a thinner leaf shape. I'm going to bend it back the other way and then bend the leaf around, just squishing it up a little bit so it looks more leaf-like. There's no particular way of doing it, just till you're happy with it. And then we're going to stick this on here. So here we go with the stick, and we're going to put it on. And you see there's a bit of a kink there in the leaf. So the one I did earlier is a little neater, I must admit. So here we go. Here's the two leaves stuck on with the skewer, all covered in our green. And there you have it, your finished carnation. I hope you enjoyed joining us today, and good luck making your carnations. Bye.